racing. We love it for so many different reasons. For some, it's our place of work. For others, it's a passion for the punt. Or the hobby of owning a horse. Racing is full of history and full of friendships. It's full of amazing stories that get passed around. Unbelievable yarns that leave you wide-eyed and gobsmacked.
Shell's lunging at the end, buffering in front. Life is great in the Sunshine State, and those Queenslanders are celebrating.
This is one such story.
You run up in shade under 27, mate, so it's lovely. I'm happy where we've got him.
The story of a horse that no one wanted, who sat for sale on a website for 3 months, purchased for a measly $10,000, who may very well, come September, gain a slot in the world's richest horse race.
The colt, yes, takes the lead. Centre of the lane, is chanting at the end. Yes, wins the Everest.
This is the story of Rothfire, a Queensland-bred 3-year-old who now has Group 1 next to his name, after winning his last start during the Brisbane winter.
So the Group 1, the Atkins about to go. Favourites Rothfire, and the red light turned on. Stand by. Set. Good line. Racing. Macrura, Rothfire both began well. Super Rare likewise. Handy as Wisdom of Water, with also Safiano, the drinks card. Isotope is going forward. Not an options over on the inside. Then we've got Spokesman over on the inside there. Wild Ruler's going forward. A length and a half further back to TikTok Boom and Star Rosa. Then we've got Cosmic Gossip, Minji the outside. Got a Kiss and Thundermania. Second last is Way Beyond, and last of all over on the outside is Overlord. So Wisdom of Water and Isotope the first couple. Third is Rothfire as they swing down the side. They've got about 650 metres left to go. Fourth is Super Air, fifth is Macrura. A length and a half further back in the field of Wild Ruler. Then we've got Safiano, the drinks cart, not an option. Next one, Spokesman, TikTok Boom, Minji, Cosmic Gossip, Got a Kiss, Star Rosa, Thundermania. Second last around the home turn is Overlord, and last of all is Way Beyond. Just in front is Wisdom of Water. Down the outside is Rothfire. Between them is Isotope, and running home is Macrura. But Rothfire's hit the lead in the Group 1. Opened up a length and a half clear. Wisdom of Water can't go with Rothfire. Down the outside is Macrura. Further out to the drinks cart, but it's all Rothfire and the Thrilla from Chinchilla. He's a Group 1 winner, and Rothfire Brewers won it by 3.
Rothfire's story starts in Chinchilla, on Queensland's Darling Downs at the Gleeson family stud.
You what?
Wally Gleeson's passion for thoroughbreds has been forged in his love for horses and thoroughbred racing.
She's got everything, haven't you? Hey? She's out of a Commands mare. I Adore Tantrums, has a great family.
In the early days, riding winners in Western Queensland before taking on a training role, then coming full circle in the sport to become a Queensland breeder of some note.
We have tried to build our stud around good types of horses, quality mares that have good stallions down the page, and at the same time our whole objective is to breed racehorses.
It's ideal for what Wally loves doing, which is spending every day out looking after horses and doing all the things he does. And I mean, I'm happy here. I like the outlook. It only has to have a bit of rain and the paddocks get green, and it's just lovely. It's a lovely outlook and a beautiful place to live.
The Gleeson family are all involved in the business, and the Gleeson Chinchilla HQ is a magnificent, much-loved property filled with yearlings and grandkids, cowboy hats and good old country hospitality. There's been plenty of breeding success for the Gleeson family over many years, but Rothfire's success as a 2-year-old has really got the industry talking.
The publicity that came out of it, from Rothfire's win, from, all of the major publications in the racing industry that were contacting us about Rothfire and the story behind him has been phenomenal.
I'm very particular on type. I think type is the most important thing, and Rothfire's proven that to us.
For Jill, there was something special about the colt.
Every time I used to walk past the paddock, he used to come over to the fence and stand with his head over the fence. So I used to go over and pat him and talk to him, and it was almost as if he needed me to acknowledge him and say hello. So I used to do that often. I mean, in retrospect, I'm more attached to him than I was then, if I'd known that he was going to be famous. But it was good that I actually had that contact with him.
As sale time approached and it was time for the colt to go to auction, the Gleesons had trouble finding a sale to place him in.
His pedigree wasn't recognised very well by too many people. In fact, he couldn't make a sale, and for that reason we had to sell him privately. I think anyone that says that now would be saying, well, you know, how can I get a mare to Rothsay?
It would be left to Simon Gleeson to find a buyer for the Rothsay colt. And it was Eagle Farm trainer Rob Heathcote that Simon approached first.
I suppose the breeding wasn't good enough to make the sales that they wanted him to go in, and Simon called me and basically said, look, we've got a nice horse here, we're not asking a lot of money for it, it's by Rothsay. We know you like training the progeny of Rothsay, and would you take him off our hands?
It's what happens next in this amazing yarn that continues to seed the incredible story of Rothfire. Welcome back to the story of Rothfire. On Queensland's Darling Downs sits what many suspect to be just another Rothsay yearling colt. Nothing particularly special about him, being readied for a future racing career. Deemed not good enough to make the sales, Simon Gleeson set about finding a possible buyer in Brisbane trainer Rob Heathcote.
Simon called me and basically said, look, we've got a nice horse here, we're not asking a lot of money for it, it's by Rothsay. We know you like training the progeny of Rothsay, and would you take him off our hands? I said, sure. I mean, how much? They said 10 grand.
It's here that the yarn really starts to get going.
Well, you know, Rob Heathcote's a brilliant storyteller, and in the shape of this horse, he's got a story that he'll tell forever and a day.
Simon sent me the invoice 2 or 3 days after I agreed to buy him, and I expected the invoice to come. It came, and I paid it immediately, as I always do. Simon called me 3 weeks later and said, Rob, we still haven't received that money.
So I rang Rob, and Rob said to me, no, I've definitely paid it.
So I was actually subject to what they now call a phishing scam. And that's basically where the email was intercepted, details were changed, forwarded on to me, and I unsuspectingly paid the invoice.
This phishing thing is crazy. I've never heard anything like that before.
Subsequently, I paid for Rothfire twice.
So I guess at $20,000 he's still a steal. It would have been interesting if it was a $100,000 horse and he had to pay $100,000 twice.
Yeah, essentially I paid 20 grand for a horse that has now won 700,000 and he's a Group 1 winner. So, you know, to those guys out there in Lagos, Nigeria, or, you know, in North Korea, yeah, you got me, but I'm pretty happy about it now.
So from that point of view, it was always a bit of a fairy tale. He's got some people in who haven't had a lot of experience with horses before, certainly not a horse in this league, plus some of his long-term owners that he's had, you know, some of them were in that great ride with buffering with him.
Jamie Tudiet called me and said, there's a group of us, we want an excuse to go to the races and have some fun. So if he's any good, that's a bonus. Fortunately, my wife kept 20% and Jamie and the crew, there's about 16 of them, so they're a big group, all new owners to my stable.
It's extraordinary, but it's a real privilege. We understand that there are people who own horses and love their horses and follow their horses and never have the results that we've had, and we just feel so grateful that we're in this position.
You know, it's how lightning strikes, isn't it? You know, it's the wonderful buzz of racing where you get involved in a horse, not an expensive horse like Rothfire. 7 starts now, 6 wins. He's a Group 1 winner, 700,000 in the bank, and you know the world is literally this horse's oyster.
Well, it's a story that makes him accessible to everyone. Everyone can look at this horse and say, oh, $10,000, I could have been a part of that. You know, you hear the stories about the expensive yearlings, but this is a horse that was deemed not even good enough to go to a Magic Millions sale.
The Aussies, as part of our psyche, we love an underdog. That's just fact, and the fact that he only cost 10 grand, he's affordable to everyone. There's a bunch of tradies and knockabout people in this horse, real people, so to speak. North Pacific cost 800,000, Farnan, I assume, being so well bred, he cost a lot of money as well, and there's going to be a lot of other expensive horses that's going to be racing this $10,000 cheapie.
It was clear from the moment that Rothfire first stepped onto the track and won a trial by 7.5 lengths that he possessed considerable ability.
Down by the 150, going great guns Rothfire, and Rothfire is going to lead all of the way and score easily.
Early days, we didn't think we had a star. In fact, Melanie Webb rode him most of the time, and the times when Webby didn't ride him, the other riders would say he feels like he's got a square wheel. You better get the chiropractor to have a look at him. But we've now subsequently learned that that's his action. When he's going slow, he's not the smoothest mover in the stable. But once he reaches gallop stage, he's got a beautifully efficient, smooth stride. And as I got him up to gallop stage, that's when we knew this horse has a little bit of that X factor, a little bit something special about him. I took him to a 400 metre jump out here one morning at Eagle Farm, and he won by as far as you could kick a footy. Wow, and that was the first time. And on the Tuesday there were trials at Dooman. We took him over the trials. He won by 8 lengths untouched, never got out of second gear, and then I knew, wow, we've got something a little bit special here.
As testament to the horse's calmness and maturity, what would have spooked most flighty 2-year-olds on debut did nothing to rattle Rothfire. When the heavens opened at Eagle Farm, lightning struck and thunder roared.
Folks, we're about to see these horses go back to the tie-up stalls, so we can't continue with our
Definite delay, Eagle Farm. Runners are going back to the
parade
tie-up
because the stewards have put this race on hold. There's lightning activity overhead, and it's torrential rain over Eagle Farm as we speak. So this race will be on hold indefinitely.
While commentators ran for cover and the field was sent back to the tie-ups, for Rothfire, it seemed like the storm almost heralded his arrival.
Right to run racing. Got a Kits out wide, jumped in front today. Rothfire's going through. Rothfire's in front from Got a Kits now. Third early Malachini. Fourth there was Machine, and fifth the outside Bright Copper. Second last is the Silver Lady. Last of all is Miss Lot 1. In front Rothfire from Got a Kiss on the outside. 3 wide third Bright Copper. Fourth the fence there is Malachini. Next one is Machine. Second last the outside the Silver Lady. And Miss Lot 1 the fence is last of all. So Rothfire just in front from Got a Kiss, and Bright Copper's been wide. It's stablemate Machine's on the outside of Malachini. The Silver Lady very wide, and Miss Lot 1 is last of all. Rothfire joined by Got a Kiss on the outside, and they kick away by about 2 or 3 lengths now from Malachini over on the inside. Next one's Machine. We've got on the outside Got a Kiss and Rothfire. Got a Kiss the outside, Rothfire the inside. Rothfire and Got a Kiss from Miss Lot 1. Rothfire, Got a Kiss, Rothfire.
Congratulations to you, Rob. He's got an engine, this guy, obviously.
Well, not only an engine, Michael, but also a will to win, and that was really a 2-horse war up the straight, and full credit to Jimmy. He got the best out of my lad, and we had to give away a little bit of weight. We had to give away experience, which is never easy to do. 3 hit and misses to get out on the track, and then they had the delay in Sydney. So, for these youngsters to do that, particularly Rothfire at his debut, nothing but pride in the horse.
One thing that I was taken with him is how relaxed he is, laid back he is. He's literally like riding a 4-year-old.
Up next, Rothfire shoots for the stars. A Winter Carnival Group 1 winner with the Southern Spring ahead and the world at his feet.
And the Thrilla from Chinchilla, he's the Group 1 winner, and Rothfire Brewers won it by 3.
Welcome back to the story of Rothfire, who in a stormy professional debut was able to put pay to Stephen O'Dea's highly touted Got a Kiss.
Rothfire, Got a Kiss, Rothfire. Rothfire a short half-ender, Got a Kiss.
Well, Rothfire, it was a case of kick.
In my experience, I've had horses in the past who've shown a lot of ability, but haven't gone on with it, haven't reached that level. And all of a sudden this horse, that very, very first race start here at Eagle Farm, he just beat her by a smidgen, but it was daylight back to the rest of the field. I knew I had a pretty good one then.
What followed during his next 3 assignments was a procession of 3 demolition jobs with an average winning margin of 5 lengths. But it's the start of these races you could watch over
Rothfire, one of the first to go.
and over
Rothfire away brilliantly.
and over again.
Rothfire away brilliantly. Rothfire's well clear with 100 metres left to go. He's all too good. Look at him go 4 for 4.
He's doing things as a 2-year-old that even Buff didn't do. He didn't fully furnish until he was, 5, 6 years old. But this horse is just so incredible. He's so calm, he's so relaxed, does everything seemingly effortless. He slingshots out of the barriers, he travels. I have no problem whatsoever with 1,200 metres, so now we head on to the duel.
At start 5, Rothfire tasted defeat for the first and only time in the cutest duel on the Gold Coast.
Rothfire, a length and a half clear from Kisakano. Next one is Boom Nova. Rothfire's in front. Kisakano on the outside, looming up now. Rothfire and Kisakano. Kisakano's got Rothfire. Kisakano's taken the lead, and Kisakano races clear to win the duel by 2 to Rothfire. An upset in the duel. Kisakano beats Rothfire.
I could see in the run that Rothy was in a bit of trouble. His legs, he never had his smooth galloping rhythm that he normally has. I find the irony of the best 2-year-olds in Australia last year, Rothfire and Farnan, both had 1 run at the Gold Coast, and it's been their only defeat in their career so far. And if I can add, he still ran a very creditable second to a filly that I think is the best filly in Queensland.
Rob immediately sent his staff for a spell before an attack on the big features during the Queensland winter.
Yeah, I got him just going over the track, mate.
Copy that. Rothfire came back from his spell bigger and better than ever, with all involved in the horse supremely confident of his ability. His first outing was a start in the Group 2 Champagne Classic.
Here's Isotope, the undefeated deep field filly, about to go up, and Wild Ruler will complete the line. So it's nearly go time for the Champagne. The favourite's Rothfire. Rothfire's a length and a half clear. Wild Ruler tries. Isotope down the outside. Rothfire by a length and a half. Wild Ruler can't get there. Isotope tries also, but Rothfire's in front. Wild Ruler and also Isotope. They won't get to Rothfire, and Rothfire is too hot on the Champagne. Rothfire wins.
That set him up perfectly for his next and ultimate assignment, and a track record breaking romp in the Group 1 JJ Atkins.
Leading up to the race all week, I suppose there's that air of apprehension. Will the horse get 1,400 metres? Will he not? But I suppose that question was also there for all the other runners in the race as well.
Down the outside is Rothfire. Between them is Isotope, and running home is Macrura. But Rothfire's hit the lead in the Group 1. Opened up a length and a half clear. Wisdom of Water can't go with Rothfire. Down the outside is Macrura. Further out to the drinks cart, but it's all Rothfire and the Thrilla from Chinchilla. He's a Group 1 winner, and Rothfire Brewers won it by 3.
Congratulations on another Group 1, Rob, and that was electric.
Wow, I got my best mate here, crying, and I'm about to. Wow, he's some horse, eh? Yeah, I'm lost for words, and that's not normally me.
That is certainly not you. Well, how were you feeling during the run? I mean, obviously he pings the barriers so well. They did dish it up to him a little bit in the early stages, but then Jimmy got him into a beautiful spot after Isotope went round him.
I think that's the beauty of having a guy like Jimmy on, that he's just been so cool and calm like the horse. I've been the nervous wreck.
He actually took me a little bit by surprise how quick he accelerated, and I thought I've gone a bit early here. So Eagle Farm's a long straight, and I'm thinking I just maybe jumped the gun a little bit too early.
And he even said going out, we had a little chat, didn't have to say too much, and he said, look, I'll take a sit if they want to serve it up because they won't beat him. Yep. And he's right. So yeah, he's climbed his Everest today, and note I did use that word, Everest.
That sort of capped it off, I think. We'd seen it up to that point, then he had to go beyond 1,200 metres for the first time. It's a Group 1 race. Now, admittedly, it was a carnival this year that didn't have as many interlopers as we would have in other years. So there's that little proviso on it. But the fact he won them by such a big margin, he ran time comparable to what they ran in the Stradbroke. There was some nice form measuring sticks behind him. For instance, a horse like Wisdom of Water ran so well in the Magic Millions, which turned out to be a hot form race. And he's decimated all of those horses, sitting on a hot speed, showing that he's not just a speedy squib. Absolutely, it confirmed him to be one of the very best in the country.
When it comes to sport, there is no doubt we love an underdog. Rothfire's story and achievements fit right into this mould. From unwanted yearling to Group 1 champion, with the world at his feet.
Rothfire is very popular here at the BRC. Not just a great local horse, Queensland trained, Queensland bred, going down south to beat the Southerners. We all love that. But Rothfire is representing Eagle Farm. And this club has invested over $40 million in the infield stables, tunnels, tracks in recent years. And if we can have a superstar like Rothfire, who's had 5 of his 6 wins here, undefeated here, go down south and win, it really validates that investment decision.
But just how good is he? And what will the spring hold?
I think Queensland's been yearning for a star, and it's great to see one emerging, or 2 emerging at the moment, and some other really promising young horses. He's showing all of the star-like capabilities at a young age.
I mean, with Alligator Blood, Rothfire, to have, probably the best 3-year-old in Australia, and also one of the best 2-year-olds in Australia for Queensland, I think it's amazing, and it just shows that, that we can hold our own with the other states.
He's a better 2-year-old than Buffering was, and obviously Buffering just kept getting better and better as he got older, and the great thing about Buffering was his longevity and his toughness. Rothfire's yet to prove that, but to compare what they've done to the same stage, he's certainly better than that.
Now the steady foundation work for a spring in the racing spotlight looms.
His greatest asset is ability, stands to reason. But his next biggest characteristic is this demeanour. He's just so calm and cool. I mean, you got the footage of him on that first day. Then when he came out in the enclosure, and there was, I think, 3 attempts to get that race underway. That high bum, the high rump higher than his wither, that's exactly what Buffering had. That sort of dragster style. I mean, yes, I think he'll grow. He's still got a little bit more to come up. And that's that classic case of scope.
And that brings us to this morning. A mild winter's day in Brisbane, and there's more than a bit of interest in Heat 10 at today's trials at Doomben.
I'd like him to have a nice hit out, run through the line. I'm not going to say to Jimmy to be overly harsh on him, because we've still got 4 weeks to his program race. So he'll have another one of these in 2 weeks, and then off to Sydney.
But just how has he come back as a 3-year-old? We're about to find out.
Gates are back, they're away. Rothfire jumped away the best. He's going to lead quite easily. Jandra lands in second spot. He may opt for that position behind Rothfire. Landing in third, Ziamba. Star Virgo fourth, a little bit deep. Drifting back, Pizzoni and Shogun Sun. He goes back to the tail. They drive off that far turn now with less than 600 metres to run, and leading the way it's Rothfire. Rothfire's out in front. The margin is a length and a half. Ziamba goes to second. Jandra sitting third, one off the inside. A little bit deeper now, Star Virgo. Shogun Sun nearer the inside, and Pizzoni's back at the tail. They're in full swing now as they come up the home running, and it's all to Rothfire. Sprinting hard and fast, less than 200 metres to run. Byrne doing little or nothing on Rothfire, and Rothfire is going to win, and win easily.
Just the lead up so far has been pretty much bomb proof, Touch wood. Everything's gone to plan. Jimmy's done most of the gallop work on him. He's been absolutely delighted with him. I love his faith, I love his confidence in the horse, and of course his commitment to want to go down to Sydney. And look, I hope Rothy can live up to expectations, certainly Jimmy's expectations. I know we've got something very, very special. Hopefully things work out.
There can be no doubt Rothfire's prospects yield enormous potential for breeding and racing in Queensland.
Well, for the breeding industry, the racing industry, just the general punting public, to have a star horse, another Buffering perhaps, coming through, Rothfire's really stamped his name in lights.
Rothfire, he's emerging as a potential champion, I believe. He's yet to do it, but I think the way he won that JJ Atkins indicated to me that he has heaps of ability, and he will go on with it as well.
We're pretty excited. Yeah.
Jumping out of our skin, actually.
It consumes you. It's all you think about. It's all we talk about at home.
He's a superstar in our eyes with what he's proven already. He just has to cope with the travel. likely softish track, and yeah, hopefully things work out.
That's great for Rob Heathcote Racing, that's great for Queensland Racing, and it's great for Queensland Racing fans.
And we can assure you, the Thriller from Chinchilla will be cheered on from right around the state by Queenslanders who know the story and what it took to get him there.
But it's all Rothfire and the Thriller from Chinchilla. He's a Group 1 winner, and Rothfire Brewers won it by 3.